Hi everyone, and welcome once again to Ruby's Classic Cooking. And today I'm making war cake, which is a very simple and easy recipe. It was very popular during World War I and World War II, partly because of rationing. This recipe doesn't use any eggs or milk or butter, all of which were rationed during the war. So my mom used to make this in the 50s and 60s, and it's a really nice moist cake. Anyway, let's just dive right into the recipe and get started. Actually, I've kind of taken a little jump on this recipe because 2/3 of a cup of shortening. My shortening was a huge frozen lump, so I decided I would melt it in the pan first. So I have my 2/3 of a cup of shortening in here, which you use instead of butter. I have 2 cups of water, which I'm going to carefully pour into that warm shortening. 2 cups of raisins go in here next. Stir those around. Now I could do this in the microwave, but today I'm going to go old school because this is an old school recipe, and I'm going to use my wooden spoon, my spatula, and my pot and cook it on the stove. Now you need a cup of sugar. Next, well, this is a 1/2 cup of sugar. Okay, I now have my 1 cup of sugar in here, and I'm going to put in 1 cup of light molasses. There we go. Which takes care of all the sweetening you need for this recipe. Between the raisins and the white sugar and the molasses, you're taken care of here, let me tell you. And next I'm going to take this over to the stove. I'm going to bring this to a boil. Then I'm going to simmer it for 5 minutes on my stovetop until my raisins get plump. And I'll be back to show you what that looks like. Hi everyone, and here I am back again, and my raisin component of this cake is now boiling, and it's been boiling for 5 minutes. And my raisins are plumping up, which means they're losing their wrinkles and starting to fill up with water. And so that's a good thing. Now, I'm supposed to sit this to one side to cool before I mix it in with my flour mixture. So I'm just going to put this to one side to cool off. In the meantime, I'm going to deal with my flour, which is 3 cups of all-purpose flour. That's Canadian, so that would be in the UK or in the USA, that would be strong flour or bread flour. So now I'm going to add to that 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Notice I'm saying soda, not baking powder, but baking soda. Well, that goes in. I'm just going to take a fork. It says to use a whisk, but nobody in wartime would have used a whisk. They would have just combine your cinnamon and your baking soda together with your flour, and then when this cools off, I'm going to have to use another bowl because you're supposed to put this into here, and I didn't put that on a large enough pan, so that's okay. I'll just be putting this all in a big mixing bowl. And there you go. See, as the cinnamon gets mixed in, the flour takes on a bit more of a brownish appearance. There you go. Now, put that to one side. And now I'm going to start on the next item that I need for my cake, which is the brown sugar sauce. This cake was not iced, which is another wartime thing, but they did make a brown sugar sauce to go with it, and you had that in a nice pitcher, warmed up in a nice pitcher, and you poured that over your cake as you served it. So it was like kind of like putting chocolate sauce over your ice cream. So I'm just going to dive right into my next recipe, which is the brown sugar sauce. So let's get on with that one while we're waiting for this to cool down. All right, here I am going with my brown sugar sauce. I'm going to first melt. For this is going to be a double batch, so I'm going to be melting 1/4 cup of butter, and then I'm going to be adding 1/4 cup of flour, then 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and I'm going to stir that till it's bubbly. Then I'll come back here and I will add 1 cup of brown sugar. So don't go away, I'll be right back. All right, here's my 1/2 cup of melted butter. I don't know if you can see that or not in there. I'm going to tip my pan up so you can see it. It's being very elusive. Well, I'm going to stir into it 1/4 of a cup of flour. Like I said, all-purpose flour. Stir it until it's smooth. And then you want to add a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. That is if you're doubling the recipe. I'll be putting the full recipe in there with the doubled up amounts. I'm taking this to a potluck tomorrow, so I want to make sure that I have lots of sauce to go around. Otherwise, I just make a single batch for me and my husband. I just stirred this till it was smooth, see? And now I'm just going to add 1 cup of brown sugar to this. Remember, with brown sugar, you always want to firmly pack it. Right now I've got 1/4 cup in here, so I'll just measure out 4 of these. 1. I always think of sandcastles when I'm working with brown sugar. And then I stir this in here. You know, if you're ever making a cake and you're decorating it and you want, for some reason, to put sand on, make it look like you got sand on the beach, all you have to do is sprinkle some brown sugar over your icing, and it will suddenly look like a sandy beach. I'm going to stir this over direct heat until it is smooth and bubbly and starts to lightly brown, which is supposed to take about 5 minutes. So I'll be back to show you that. All right, here I am back again. Here's my sauce, all nice and dark brown and thickened, and look at that, bubbling, look at that. Now I'm going to add 2 cups of boiling water to my sauce. Here we go. Ooh, boy, that's really boiled up there, isn't it? Whoa. Hot stuff here. Whoa. Make sure you have a really good big pan here. Wow, that's really boiling up. Whoa. I want to stir this down. Stir these together. I'm going to return this to the heat and stir it until it's nicely cooked, nice and thickened. Then I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla to it, and then my sauce will be pretty much done. A nice dark brown look, nice caramely looking dark brown. Here we go. Now that the bubbling has subsided. All right, back to the stove we go. And I'll be back and show you when I'm ready to add the vanilla, what it looks like, okay? All right, here I am back again with my sauce. Seems to be getting smoothly thickened here. And now I'm going to add my 2 teaspoons of vanilla to this. Yeah, stir in my 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And there we go, my brown sugar sauce is finished. And I think my raisins have probably cooled off enough now that I can finish my cake. So I'm going to go back to my raisins. I'll put this back on the back of the stove. And then, now just before I finish mixing my cake together, I think what I'm going to do is grease my pans. Now today I'm using 2 loaf pans to do this in, but you can also use a tube pan, angel food cake pan, or a bundt pan to cook these in. But today I thought I'd make 2 cakes instead of 1, and then I can slice these up and have it ready to serve tomorrow at the potluck I'm going to. I'm just going to put some liquid oil in these. If you want to really go old school, you can also flour these, but I don't think I'll need to flour these. You can use loaf pans that are Pyrex or metal or these stoneware ones. Or even Corningware, if you happen to be lucky enough to have some Corningware ones. And don't worry, metric people, all of the metric equivalents for all of these recipes, both these recipes will be in the description box below. Now I'm just going to put my raisin mixture into my mixing bowl here because I'm supposed to add all this flour to it and there's some room in this pan. There we go, in this pan. That's the only reason why I'm putting it into a mixing bowl, by the way. Okay, so into my mixing bowl goes my flour. So combine as you go. And then my cake will be mixed up and I will be baking it off in my preheated 325 degrees Fahrenheit, that's 163 degrees Celsius oven, and it'll be about 1 hour. And when it's done, of course, I'll bring you back and show you what they look like fresh and hot from the oven. But let's get this finished first. Just going to stir this together. There we go. And now I'm going to be eyeballing these into my two pans. And there are my two cakes. And now they're going to go in the oven, and I'll be back when they're all cooked, about 1 hour from now. Hi everyone, it's an hour later, and here are my war cakes, fresh and hot out of the oven. And as you can see, they are gorgeously dark brown, and the smell is absolutely amazing. So I'm going to just loosen these a little bit. You can see they pull away from the pan a little bit. And I'm just going to loosen these cakes in the pan a little bit here and turn them out. They look, you know, in wartime, I guess they use these as a substitute for fruit cake because the fruit for the fruit cake was too hard to find. So raisins were much more easily obtained than all that candied citrus peel and all those candied cherries and so on. So, and especially candied pineapples. Okay, here's my two cakes here, fresh and hot out of the oven. Just unpanned them here on my cooling rack. So now they'll sit here until they cool off, and I'll be serving them up tomorrow with some lovely heated brown sugar sauce. Well, I hope you enjoyed my recipe today. I hope you'll like, subscribe, comment, try this recipe at home, and come back and join me next time on Ruby's Classic Cooking. Bye for now.